Okay, well, welcome back to Tales from the PowerAge. Tonight we are paying tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Played a big part in our lives. We're 1 week on from his passing away, so we just wanted to share some upbeat stories around how we got into him, some of our memories, some of our live memories, maybe some of the merch as well, and some individual stories as well about Ozzy. But look, from our point of view, before we go to the end of this, he would certainly be missed in our group. And as these rock stars die, that were big parts of our childhood and our adult life, it's a bit sad. So we just wanted to pay tribute to Oz because he's been a legend in our life. Before we do that, though, please give us a subscribe, give us a like, tell us your memories of Ozzy, tell us what you think about his amazing career and all the things that he's done. I guess the one thing that really stands out from this week, he was just a generally good bloke and really funny as well. And I think, it's not been a bad word across anywhere. And I think about all the tributes. We've had Oasis playing tribute. We've had Coldplay, Cyndi Lauper. We've had Judas Priest the other night. I mean, it's just the list is endless in terms of the live gigs and what everyone's been doing over the course of the last week. So I think that's real testament to us.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do as a group, we're going to just have a talk. I tell you what I thought we'd start with, guys. What about the first time you heard Ozzy? So, Jam, can you remember when did you first hear Ozzy? What are your recollections?
Well, a lot of it's tricky. The Black Sabbath thing, the 70s, it was just a tad before us. I remember it being an Axe Attack. Of course, Paranoid was on Axe Attack. I remember checking out around that time Live at Last, and it didn't float my boat. As well known, I was always a bit of a Dio Sabbath man. But the first two Ozzy albums I loved. I really loved them. They seemed so different to me. And then it really kicked in with Bark at the Moon. 1983, Bark at the Moon. Something special about that. So my first real proper being into Ozzy, I'd say, was mostly that Bark at the Moon record. Yeah, kicked it off nicely for me.
Wow, excellent. Gav, what I'm guessing you probably similar timings and first time you'd heard Oz. What were your recollections?
Yeah, I think it was Axe Attack. I think my brother had it. That was 1980, and I remember thinking, what a modern sounding for an old band. And the picture of them they just look old. If you're 10 or whatever we were, 11. But they sounded brilliant, and that song sounded like it produced brilliantly. And then nothing for a while, and then I think we were talking about it, or someone had a ghetto blaster on the school bus. I think it was probably you, Jam, because it was at the same time there was all this controversy in the States about the religion and probably biting heads off bats and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not sure about this dude. And then the music had so many melodies and was so brilliant. I think it was Bark of the Moon era. Can't claim to have known the Randy albums at the time, I don't think. But it just sounded so cool. It sounded brilliant. And I'm a sucker for melody, especially a vocal melody and some rocking guitars. And yeah, that from then on, I took a lot of attention to it. But yeah, it took me a while to get there.
And the video as well, Bark at the Moon, what brilliant. It's funny as well, isn't it? The video, it's hilarious.
We didn't really see videos though so much, did we, at the time?
Well, my mum used to work at Sky.
Yeah.
Well, it turned to be Sky. It was owned by Robert Maxwell at the time, funnily enough. And she used to video the rock program weekly. It was called Monsters of Rock as well, I think.
Right.
But anyway, that was one of the videos that was on their Bark at the Moon around that era. So we used to share that video around, and good memories of that. So what about you, Gaps? What were your first memories?
Well, rather boringly for everybody else on here, it's exactly the same Axe Attack, which I got on a tape when I was 10. And Paranoid was the first song I heard. But after that, it would have been around about 1983, before Bark at the Moon came out. Borlo, friend of the pod, he recorded me the first album, Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath comes on, and it's one of the most haunting things you're ever going to hear in your life, especially when you look at the cover. You get the bells and you get the rain, you get the thunder and lightning, and you get Ozzy talking about Satan and all this sort of stuff. And when you're 13, honestly, that scared the living daylights out of me when I first heard that song. And it went on from there, really. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Oh, is that an original? Is that a first press, Gav?
Second press.
Oh,
It's still good though.
Yeah, it
Listen,
hasn't got the swirl in a sleeve, unfortunately.
so if anyone's watching this, and we're not going to give it away, but Gaps has got a really important link to that record.
yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. Tell us in the comments, right? And if you get it right, we'll send you a badge or two, right? So let us know. Let us know what Gappy's link is to that record, because it does.
Yes, if you've been listening.
It does explain his life in many respects. I think. So tell us what you think.
This could be yours.
Hey.
Yeah, which is cool. My first look, I probably heard Paranoid first, but the first two heavy metal tapes that I ever got, and that was before I got my first vinyl. So my first vinyl was No Sleep to Hammersmith, Motorhead, obviously. But I bought two tapes. I think Dad had bought me, well, I know exactly what he bought me. Black Sabbath Greatest Hits, which was on NEMS, and I think released in '77. And then Gillan Mr. Universe. Anyway, at school, this was in the first year at school, we were told we were allowed to go and bring our I'll never forget this because I was so proud. And I played Black Sabbath Greatest Hits, we forwarded it to Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, because of course of the Sabbath Bloody. That was a bit risque when you're 11 at school. And there is a piece later in the song where it references bastards. And I looked around the room, I was puffing my chest out. Oh yeah, I'm so cool listening to this heavy metal music. And that was my first memory of listening to Ozzy. But yeah, I used to love that record. We go away, and do you remember their little Walkmans with their little orange?
Oh, we had them. Well, I had one.
Listening away to that.
That's
was
why
cool.
we all had tapes back in the day.
Yeah, but I got one more. I got one more which I might just, because this was probably about the same time, and I got this 12-inch. This was the first Ozzy piece of vinyl that I ever got, and it was Blizzard of Oz. And I got this off of a guy called Jem Chamberlain.
I remember Jem.
Bless him. So I got it off him, and I just thought it was amazing. Mr. Crowley, but in particular Suicide Solution. I used to listen to that all the time. I thought it was just absolutely, utterly brilliant. And there you go. And that started my journey with Ozzy, and then continuing with Black Sabbath. So I just thought I'd show that.
There's a similar one.
There you go.
Mr. Crowley live.
Brilliant. So whilst we're on the subject of records then and favourite Ozzy tunes, I'll let you have two. So you've got a favourite Ozzy record and a favourite Black Sabbath record, or you can just do Ozzy. It's fine, right? But Jan, what are your thoughts? What's your favourite? I've
already given away the first. To me, the first three records were exemplary. The first one was just brilliant, full of all the hits, and the second album was darker. It's just a little bit darker, in my opinion. But my two favourites were always Flying High Again. Loved it, and Suicide Solution. And you boys may remember we went off to a Hard Rock Hell event in North Wales a few years ago. Pwllheli, that's it. And we were all having a drink beforehand in the caravan.
Yeah, try and say that after a few pints.
Exactly. And we were getting well into it, and Suicide Solution's on, and I put my glass down, but I put it down too vigorously, and I cut my hand, and there was blood splattering everywhere. But you boys you may remember that. Great memories. It's a great song, and it always gets me pumped. I just love it. So Suicide Solution and Flying High Again. If I had to name just two, it would be those two, I think.
Brilliant. So firmly in the Randy camp with those two. So that's cool. Gav, what are your standout Ozzy Memories tunes?
I love all the first three albums, almost every song of those, really. So, and then not so familiar with the next album, but then Ultimate Sin, because we saw them on the tour, done a pod about it. Everyone knows we love that. Also was at a record company when No More Tears came out. Brilliant album, but maybe 12 weeks before that, I knew it was brilliant. So I was like really excited, and we saw the promo videos before anybody else. And even the executives in London and where I worked were really pumped about it, and it was so cool. He was wearing his hair
That's right.
at the side.
So,
yeah, which he did for a couple of years. So I've got a real affection with No More Tears. There's the song, and this one, which obviously in the last few weeks has become extremely poignant. I haven't dared listen to it since the day, because it's really sweet. Obviously, Lemmy wrote the lyrics. Zach and Ozzy.
How cool is that, though?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I mean, it doesn't get much better, does it? And there's from the Sabbath side of things. This is kind of left of field, but I thought I'd just throw it in there for some spice. This came out at the same time I was working for the record company. It's a covers album dedicated to Black Sabbath.
Ooh.
And there's some corkers on here. I mean, there's everyone from Megadeth.
Well, what song did Megadeth do on that then?
Megadeth do Paranoid. But there's two that are just epic. Biohazard doing After Forever.
Biohazard. Brilliant.
And Sepultura doing Symptom of the Universe.
Wow.
Check
Oh, I'm going to have to buy that. Jesus.
This actual is worth quite a bit now, but I'm sure it's on Spotify. But obviously I love the originals, but how they've been brought up to date with Biohazard Sepultura, especially Sepultura, absolutely amazing. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, some good memories, Egg. Some great vinyl. Let us know what you think in the comments. Gaps, what's your...
Well, for me, I'm going to go a bit different because I've got a Black Sabbath song, which is the first real Black Sabbath song I heard and got into, which was Black Sabbath, the actual song. Scared the living daylights out of me, as I've said before, when I first heard it. And you listen to it now, it's one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion. It's absolutely brilliant. The lyrics are brilliant. Bass playing's brilliant. Guitaring's brilliant. It's scary. It's atmospheric. It's just so good. But when you go on to Ozzy, for me, I love Bark at the Moon. I love Ultimate Sin. But my favourite ever Ozzy song is Rock and Roll Rebel off of Bark at the Moon. Absolutely adore that song. So good. The riff in that song is brilliant. Jake's amazing. Bob Daisley does brilliantly on the old bass on that one. It's just a great song off a great album.
Great. That is a great album. I mean, there's three. It's interesting. I'm not trying to put down anyone else that's been involved, and that's the UK press, which you can see with the blue Ozzy.
Yeah.
The one in the States is a red Ozzy, I believe. So tell us.
That's correct.
Tell us your thoughts on that. I've got a couple. I mean, there's so many. I was thinking, can I do the Jake era? Can I do the Randy era? Or can I do the Zach era? I think, look, I picked two albums out that really, for me, from an Ozzy perspective, really stand out. The first one's Blizzard of Oz, so probably sticking with the original stuff. It just blew me away. It was amazing. I love the picture of him on the back there. Look at Oz there. He looks fantastic.
Looks rather nonplussed.
Sure. So, some great tunes on that. The standouts, of course, I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Suicide Solution. All great tracks. But I'm a little bit with Gav as well. I think this is a classic album, No More Tears. There's so many great tracks on it. And you can listen to, I mean, it doesn't sound dated either now, does it? And what you have to remember with this record in particular, this wasn't a great time for metal. It was all fading away. And then suddenly, bang, this comes out. And it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's like Ozzy Reborn, isn't it? This is just amazing.
When you consider the timing of it, absolutely.
Yeah,
he'd done No Rest for the Wicked, and that didn't really float anyone. Didn't do a lot.
Oh, I don't mind it. I don't mind No Rest for the Wicked, but it's not as good as that.
No, but it was Ultimate Sins felt like a really decent one. Then No Rest for the Wicked, but then to come out with No More Tears at the time, I thought was just massive. It really did. I thought it was a brilliant record then. And we covered that on that pod for 1991, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I'm going to pick one Ozzy one. This might be a little bit controversial, it might not be, but that's my choice of Ozzy awesomeness in Black Sabbath albums. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Some huge tracks on this one. Tomorrow's Dream, though, what a tune that is. Absolutely brilliant. Got a really good melody to it as well. I just love this record. It's absolutely super. Yeah, Gav's got it as well there.
It's faded compared with yours.
Slipknot as well on this as well, which is there's just some great stuff on this record. It's beautiful. Changes as well.
Yeah.
It's just really groundbreaking stuff. But there you go. So thanks.
Yeah, Youngblood says he's going to play Changes at every gig he ever does from now on.
Oh, bless him.
Good on him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Great lad.
He was brilliant at that. Back to the beginning show. He was amazing. Really good.
I can't believe how many metalers and how many people of our age embrace it. You'd think we'd be a bunch of cynical old gits who, said, look at the state of him or whatever. I haven't heard a single negative point about him.
No, I think people appreciate good performers, Gav, and he was absolutely brilliant. You know, regardless, it's like they say, isn't it? If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah,
and he was definitely good enough. He was.
and he's odd, and Ozzy was odd, and you know there are. If you accept Ozzy, then why wouldn't you accept Youngblood? You know.
I think that's the secret, Gav. I think there are a lot of people, and I come across a lot of people in our genre of music that don't accept change or new stuff. We on this, I know we do a lot. We like a lot of new stuff, so it's easy for us. But I think the Ozzy connection, that's the big thing. Ozzy fans, Black Sabbath fans, I think they're very much of the occult, of that side of things, where you want to give people a chance. I think because Ozzy was one of a kind, and you like original, you like different. But I was just curious. People that are watching this, we've been, the last couple of weeks has been pretty tricky for a lot of people, and the songs I've been listening to of Ozzy this last week or so have been different to the ones that I've always listened to. No More Tears, I've never listened to. So the actual track I've been listening to so much because it's so atmospheric and it's really getting me. And another one I just wanted to give a shout out to. It's never been one of my faves, but You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, an old Ozzy track. It's just brilliant. And some of the tracks I've been listening to aren't ones I'd have expected to be. But yeah, it's been going real deep. I'd love to hear what other people have been listening to, some of the random deep cuts from the Sabbath or the Ozzy. I'd love to hear what people have been listening to that's helped them this last couple of weeks. Because, yeah, as you said, Gav, there's certain ones you haven't listened to yet. But that No More Tears and You Can't, they've just been really knocking me sideways. They've been brilliant. So I'd love to hear what everyone else, put your comments in there. I can have a listen to what people listen to.
Okay.
To be fair, when I saw Youngblood come on the stage at Back to the Beginning, I thought, oh no, what's going on? And he knocked it out of the park. He was absolutely brilliant, totally brilliant.
Yeah,
he did. He was super.
And if we're going to keep this rock thing alive, God, we need to embrace.
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
Like
we need the younger. We need all these young people to come through and kick it out of the park.
Ozzy passing is another example of how short-lived a lot of our favourite bands are now, you know.
Yeah. There's
not long ago. Was ill for a while, but you know, there's only so many bands that are left of the classic PowerAge era.
Yeah, go and see them if they're playing in your local town. Go and see them, or even if they're not, go and see them. Scoop up the cash and go and see them. So we all saw Ozzy live a few times, a good few times, and Black Sabbath as well. So it'd be good to just get your favourite live memory of Ozzy. So Jam, I think I know what yours might be, but
oh God, yeah,
you were really lucky. But what's your favourite live memory of Oz?
Well, as I said before, very much as an Ozzy time. 1983, Bark at the Moon was out. I was able to go to 1984 Donington Monsters of Rock, 1984 in the UK. All the bands were announced. It was going to be the greatest festival bill ever, with AC/DC and Van Halen, with Gary Moore, YNT, Accept, and Motley Crue backing them up, and it was all sorted. 6 bands. There's usually 5. Everyone was thinking, and then they announced a 7th. And it was Ozzy Osbourne. I couldn't believe it. I had the pass. I had the ticket from the permission from my mother to go with my brother. And Ozzy Osbourne was added. And I was like, that's great. I love Ozzy Osbourne. It'll be brilliant. He'll be really good. Wow, to think he was going to be 3rd on the bill. And he was billed as a very special guest. And I went on the day, and it was an amazing day. It was a very special day. And I was expecting for Van Halen to blow me away. I knew that AC/DC would blow me away. And Ozzy Osbourne walked out on that stage in the sunshine. It was the hottest day ever. And he absolutely wiped the floor of everyone that was in attendance. If there's anyone watching this that was there, I'm expecting them to just say, like they did on the pod we did about it, yes, he was out of this world. And I was just transformed. I liked Ozzy a lot then, but I didn't love him as such. And he literally he lifted me up out of the ground and he just threw me to one side. He was just brilliant. It was immortalised. It was on. Tommy Vance had a portion of it on his rock show, on the Friday rock show that he played, and I taped onto a tape, so I was able to re-listen to it again and again, and it was just the best. So as far as seeing him live, that was the first time I saw him, and from that moment on, I was just hooked, because the whole place, the outpouring of love, very similar to what we saw at Villa Park. It's always been a thing with Oz. He's held in such high esteem by his fans. It's always almost I don't want to, but almost religious. It's just a feeling that he's got such a feel with his fans, and it was like that then. And we felt it for Villa Park. I'll be honest, whenever I've seen him, he's always been absolutely brilliant. I've seen him so many times in between. Absolutely. But that was, for me, obviously, that was always going to be the number one, because he blew me away. And he was fantastic. So, yeah, my one, Donington 84.
Brilliant. And if you've not seen that podcast, check it out. It's a great watch or a great listen, depending on how you take our pods on board. But yeah, what an event that was, and how lucky you were to be there. And you're right. I think Ozzy does resonate with the fan base much more than many others, because he's, well, do you know what? He shows his vulnerabilities, doesn't he? He's funny, and he's just a normal guy. And I think that's why people, but underneath all of that, he's super talented, and what a brilliant voice. Gab, what's your live memory you want to pick out?
I've seen him a few times, and I met him the once. Very, very briefly. He'd had a few beers or something else, and it was at Kensington Roof Gardens, and it was around the No More Tears period. And I'd egged myself on, look, you cannot let this moment go. It's bloody Ozzy. You're going to have to say something to him. So I saw him milling through the crowd. I remember him being shorter than I expected, and I got myself positioned in front of him, and he had his hair tied back and his glasses, perfect for the era. And I just said, Ozzy, man, I've got to say how much I love you. You mean everything to me. Thank you so much for the music. And he went, completely ignored everything I said. But I met him, so that'll do.
That's classic.
It was. I wasn't upset. It was just so funny, And I'd met him officially. I've met him, so that was good enough for me. But something I forgot to mention earlier, from a live perspective, obviously I've seen him live. But another thing, kind of harking back to your first question, Dill, about how I got introduced to him. The real clincher was, I think it was called Sight and Sound in Concert, or In Concert.
Yeah.
And it was Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And they did, obviously in America, it was so much bigger, and the stages were huge. And I think there was a half an hour program. I've recently found the whole thing on YouTube. The whole show that they took that half an hour from is on YouTube. Man, it's good. So yeah, we videoed it off the telly, VHS, and we used to watch it all the time up at mine, and knew everything. And it was Jakey Lee era.
Yeah, I was going to say, huge shout to Jake. What a guitarist that one is.
I mean, that's probably why we're very loyal to Jake, because he was our first. Really, we miss Randy, just because we're so young. But yeah, that really that's when he fully got me.
Brilliant. Gaps, what are your live memories, or what's your pick out of live memories of Oz?
Well, for me, my favourite live memory is the first time I ever saw him, which was Donington 86. I think we all went to that one. And you got to bear in mind that Motorhead had been on the bill that day, and they absolutely blew my absolute tits off. They were so good. And that was the first time I'd seen Motorhead live as well. So it was the first time I saw Motorhead, and the first time I saw Ozzy. And I remember Jam saying to me, probably the night before, a couple of nights before, whatever, he said he's definitely going to clap his hands, and he's definitely going to say, "Let's go crazy." And I said, "No, he's not. He's not going to do that." And absolutely, that's exactly what he did. Probably in the first song, and headlining that, he was just so good. He absolutely blew me away. We had Jake, we had Rudy. I think Don might have been in the background. I don't know if he was actually on stage or what, but it was so good. And we had Shot in the Dark, which is. What a fantastic song that is. What a fantastic song. No, it'd been Phil Sousson on bass then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Playing live, yeah. It would have been, yeah. And that night, of all the Doningtons I went to in that area, that was my favourite, because he was just so good. So good.
Yeah,
I went home a very, very happy young lad.
He had that huge contraption, that monster throne.
That's it, yeah.
It was on full circle, really, when you think of that.
The first time he'd been down in a throne, he came up in a throne.
Funny enough, I went with you guys.
That's showmanship, isn't it? That's just what a showman.
Amazing. So my live memory, I'm going to pick two, the first and the last, because it's a bit of a going full circle in some respects, because he had that thrown at Hammersmith Odeon as well. So I know Gav and Jam and Ballo was not on today. We all went together to that gig at Hammersmith, and there was a big green monster throne, wasn't there? He came down in with his big sequin, long white jacket on. But it was brilliant. It was amazing. I was so proud to have an Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt, which I bought at the gig, which sadly I don't have anymore. But it was amazing. It was great. And then we saw them again at Monsters of Rock. I went with Jam to that one, which was absolutely brilliant. And he had to follow Scorpions, by the way, that day.
Scorpions, yeah, I forgot they were on the bill as well. Unreal. That's the first time I'd seen Scorps as well.
What a brilliant day.
What a day of firsts for me.
Yeah, amazing. But of course, my other live memory will have to be the Back to the Beginning gig a couple of weeks ago, which was emotional for all the reasons that we know, even more now so. But it was just it was a huge event, an amazing day. And just a real thrill and treat to see Ozzy for the last time, not just as Ozzy Osbourne, but also as the frontman for Black Sabbath and the original member. So yeah, it was amazing. If you want to see a bit more about that one, we've got a pod on that too, so check it out. So I thought I'd just finish off this with just one more question around: is there anything else you want to mention around Ozzy? Is there any merch or any other memories that you've not covered off already that you want to show? So, Jam, is there anything else on your mind around?
Just a couple of, I mean, one, the random fact that my son is called Zach. I was quite happy to carry through with the Zach Wild tradition, and when my son was born in 2004, I couldn't think of a better rock guitarist than Zach Wild to be naming my son. I only just got the 1K. I wanted to have 2, but that was the compromise with the wife. She said, yes, it could be Zach, but he's not having 2 Ks. I said, fine, Zach it is. It's just good to, it just carries forward the legacy. But the other thing, we saw him on the Scream tour at Hammy-O around that time, around 2009, and he was still just putting in great performances. He came on really early. It's a bit random. Gav, we were there. You were there, I think.
Yeah.
And he came on really early, and the first thing we heard, we were in the bar. It was about 7:30, and we heard the beginnings of I Don't Know. It's a very clear beginning, isn't it? And they can't be playing that before he comes on. So I went.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Ozzy front and centre in Hammy-O, front and centre, literally just banging out, thinking, holy smoly, let's get in there. And again, he was just, I didn't say exactly that, but again, he was just brilliant. But I'm just so pleased that we've managed to, that as such a hero of so many people, I'm just so pleased, Dil, you were there at the time, that everyone across the world managed to show him how important he was and what he'd done for everybody while he was still alive. It's just brilliant. So yes, that's all I say on that. I get a bit too emotional.
It's awesome. Gav, anything you want to add? Any merch or thoughts?
No, I was going to say the same thing, and I think a lot of people are coming to that conclusion now. That, I mean, I don't know the details of his death, and we don't need to know, but it is comforting to know that he saw that, within a fortnight of roughly of him passing. How fantastic was the whole thing? I regret not spending thousands on a ticket now.
Me too.
But it is what it is. The amount of money they donated to Birmingham charities, equivalent to 4 comic relief nights. And they're not talking about that really. They're just talking about Ozzy. But you got to love the guy. Everybody who's interacted with him has said he's a good guy. And so he came here. He mostly did good. As soon as he found rock.
Good shout. And Gaps, any final thoughts from you?
I just want to say, I think the biggest compliment I can pay a bloke is the fact that his voice is instantly recognisable and unable to be replicated by any other singer that I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's a great point. Yeah. I'm glad you made that point, Gaps.
He's absolutely amazing. One of a kind. And I think the world is a much poorer place for him having passed away, because the bloke was as funny as you know what. He was an amazing fella, and I just think we're going to miss him greatly.
Yeah, I don't think I could follow that. Gaps, that's a brilliant summary. Well, all three of you actually a brilliant summary of what Ozzy not only means to us, but also probably many thousands and millions of people, not just in the UK, but around the world as well. So, look, I hope you've enjoyed watching this and listening to some of our thoughts and memories around Ozzy, it's our probably our epitaph to Ozzy, and just or a obituary to Ozzy in terms of everything that he's meant to us. Big part of our life that's left us over the last week or so. So, you know, whatever you're doing up there, I hope you're having a great time with Lemmy, Randy, and all the other little reprobates. Bon, I'm sure they're having the time of their lives, looking down, thinking, well, we didn't have a bad life, did we? And he certainly did. So anyway, look, I hope you enjoyed that. You can check out some of our videos from back to the beginning, and there's some really cool stuff on there as well. So we've got some Ozzy and Black Sabbath and a bunch of other bands covering Ozzy and Black Sabbath, which was absolutely amazing. So check it out. And if you didn't know, we're the #1 rock and metal channel in the world. All right, so just putting that in there. If you want to get in contact with us, you can on Facebook on Tales from the PowerAge. We're on X on Tales from the PowerAge at TTFTPR. We're on Bluesky at TFTPA at Bluesky Social. We're on Instagram on Tales from the PowerAge. If you wanted to buy some merch and catch up with us when we're out and about on gigs, we're all over the place. Please take a look. Some great value stuff on there, and there's often sales available, so check it out. And then finally, you can check us out online if you want to find out a little bit more about us and our journey through the rock pantheon, which we've been doing over pretty much all of our lives. You can do that on www.talesfromthepowerage.com. So I want to end this on a bit of an upbeat note, because whilst it is very sad, we should all be really thankful for everything that Ozzy gave us as well. It was absolutely brilliant. And I've got one small memory of us, me and Gaps, being at Download in 2018. And we were actually sleeping inside the arena. Don't ask anyway. But we were inside the arena. And we were just waking up in our tent. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, bang, the Ozzy sound check started. We were straight up with our high-vis vests on and straight down the front. And Gaps' face with a smile. Huge speakers and PA playing out No More Tears. We were looking at each other going, it
was amazing, wasn't it? It was
on a Sunday.
And no one there, just me and you.
We were hung over like you wouldn't believe, and the so it was brilliant, wasn't it? I'll never forget that. It was what a brilliant moment. And how powerful is his music to give you that 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, hung over as as somebody that shouldn't be hungover. Anyway, listen, I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Rest in peace, Oz.
Love you all. Take care, boys.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Ozzy.